say to these students, you know, you hold it there, darling, just for a little while. And then someone comes along in the class and they say, ladies and gentlemen, you have 2 hours to complete this paper. Please pick up your pens. At which point, you have to spew this garbage out onto a page. Now, if you do it well enough, sponge out, in, sponge out, you pass your exams and you become very successful. My little girl's very good at school, you know, pass her exams, going to university. Poor sod. And you're successful in this system. Come on, yeah. Now what happens? If you are I am me, I am free, you take all this stuff into the left brain and you pass it over to the right brain. And the right brain looks at it and goes, ah, it's a piece of shit. If you then regurgitate the fact that it's a piece of shit onto your exam paper with provable support, you fail your flipping exam. The whole system's set up for the system to say, tell me what I want to hear and you'll be okay. Tell me what I don't want to hear and I'll jump on you. So what we're going to do today, we have this smoke screen in front of us. You know, this is reality. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a look behind and see what's really going on. Symbolized magnificently by this wonderful card I found. This is a peacock. This is a peacock projecting an illusion. But these 2 women peacocks have seen through it. Cut the crap and show us your willy. So what we're going to do today is look at this system there and say, cut the crap and show us whatever you got. It's going to be a laugh. This is the mechanism by which throughout history, this goes back so long, the few have always controlled the many. You set up a structure, a compartmentalized structure. Secret societies are wonderful for this, and the ancient mystery schools also, not all of which were malevolent by any means. I'm talking about the way this Illuminati has worked. You hoard significant knowledge at the top of the pyramid, and you keep the people in ignorance of that knowledge. If I know significant things that you don't know, you are in a position where I can manipulate you. If you know the same as me, because we have the free flow of information, then manipulating becomes very, very much more difficult. So over the period I'm talking about, literally thousands of years to today, a structure has been created in which significant knowledge is hoarded there, and it's passed over through initiation and other secret networks only to those chosen to have it, and the people are kept in ignorance of it. This is one of the key reasons why when the European nations, i.e. the Illuminati manipulated European nations, because it's European-centered at operational level, when they went into Africa, into the Americas, into Australia, and into the Asia as far as China, one of the key things they did under the guise of Christianity and destroying Satan was to destroy ancient knowledge and ancient accounts of history, because they wanted to keep the people in ignorance of what had happened and what was happening, and even the true nature of who they are spiritually. And they've done it magnificently and hoarded it there. And I'll give you a quick example of the kind of stuff that's held there and not kept in the public arena. About 2 or 3 years ago now, I was invited through a third party to meet this guy in North America who works for the CIA as a scientist. He is an expert in magnetics, which is a cutting-edge area of expertise now. He told me the story of how he joined the CIA thinking he was serving his country, because most people, you know, people say, it's the Freemasons, it's the so-and-so. It's not it's the anything. Most Freemasons don't know their arse from the friggin' elbow in terms of what's going on in the world and how their organization's being used. They're totally innocent of it. Not all of them by any means, but the majority. But they need that unknowing majority to smokescreen what's going on behind the scenes. So he told me that he joined the CIA thinking he was serving his country. And one day, because he realized that his technology and knowledge was being used to advance this very agenda I'm exposing today, that he rebelled and he refused to work anymore. One day, he has missing time. He remembers leaving home, nothing else. Next thing he remembers, he's lying on this medical-type bench. And as he got his faculties back and woke up, he realized there was something on his chest. And as he was telling me this story, he opened his shirt. And on his chest was this see-through plastic with sachet, almost like a see-through shampoo sachet. And in it was this orangey golden liquid. And he said, what they did is they've manipulated my body to need this drug to survive, and it has to be replaced every 72 hours. And if he does not do as he's told and use his genius for malevolent reasons, then this is not replaced and he starts to die. And he's got kids. He wants to see them grow up. And he's not alone. And what he told me is that up there is the technology that can create abundant growth in deserts without water, using magnetics and resonating the natural energy fields and vibrational fields of the earth and indeed the plant itself. That free energy technology, which would mean we have no more utility bills, is known and has been known for decades. The cure for cancer has been known for decades. Why are these things kept out of the public arena? Because if there were no empty bellies, if everyone had abundance, which this planet could provide, if we ran it right and shared it outright, if we had abundance, we would have choice. Abundance equals choice, choice equals freedom. So they manipulate scarcity because scarcity equals dependency and dependency equals control. And if you have enough have-nots, then that frightens the friggin' life out of those who have, because they see what happens if they don't serve the system. You'll become one of them. It's all fear and manipulation. And so when I started to understand, particularly with a book called And the Truth Shall Set You Free, which incidentally was funded by a Jewish friend of mine in England. I'm going to wake up at the end of this week and I'm going to be lying in bed in London or Los Angeles somewhere. I'm going to think, well, that was a strange dream. I don't know. Anyway, I thought I was in Vancouver. Isn't it strange? When I started to see how this system worked, towards the end of the day when we tell this chronological story and we get right into the modern world, I'm going to explain how this system works. It's ever so simple how a few can manipulate all the different institutions. I started to think, well, when the hell did this start? Because, you know, this couldn't have been put together in 5 years or a few decades. It had to go back a very, very long way. So I started going back and back and back. And I got right back into the ancient world before I was picking up anything like an origin to this. And I'm probably nowhere near the start. It's just a kind of a point where you can pick it up and go with it. But it probably goes back further than that. And what you find when you get back there is that the idea that far back in the ancient world there were just primitive people is utterly, utterly ludicrous. But if you establish and you reveal publicly in mainstream that they weren't just primitive people, and in fact there was some very, very advanced technological knowledge back there, then the whole house of cards of conventional history starts to fall. You don't want that. As George Orwell said in his book 1984, words to the effect, he who controls history controls the present, and he who controls the present controls history. In other words, if you control the writing of history, you can give people a false fix of where they've come from, therefore giving them a false fix of where they are. That's why the rewriting of history has been so important, and that's why the destruction of historical accounts all over the world has been, and the destruction of them has actually been so important. So I started to go back, and when you realize that back in the ancient world was phenomenal knowledge as well as no knowledge, suddenly some questions start to be answered, some mysteries. And the mysteries are very important, you know. It's great mysteries, because if something comes to light that demolishes your version of life or history, and you say, well, if that's true, mate, what about that? You go, it's a mystery. It's lovely. I just keep it, it's a mystery. Oh, it's a mystery. And you leave it there, because then you can concentrate with your vision of life. And So one of the things that I hear from the academics is that there was just these primitive... projecting an illusion. But these two women peacocks have seen through it. Cut the crap and show us your willy. So what we're going to do today is look at this system there and say, cut the crap and show us whatever you got. It's going to be a laugh. This is the... If you then regurgitate the fact that it's a piece of shit onto your exam paper with provable support, you fail your flipping exam. The whole system's set up for the system to say, tell me what I want to hear and you'll be okay. Tell me what I don't want to hear and I'll jump on you. So what we're going to do today, we have this smoke screen in front of us. You know, this is reality. My little girl's very good at school, you know, passed her exams. Going to university. Poor sod. And you're successful in this system. Come on, yeah. Now what happens? If you are I am me, I am free, you take all this stuff into the left brain and you pass it over to the right brain. And the right brain looks at it and goes, ah, it's a piece of shit. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a look behind and see what's really going on. Symbolized magnificently by this wonderful card I found. This is a peacock. This is a peacock. Say to these students, you know, you hold it there, darling, just for a little while. And then someone comes along in the class and they say, ladies and gentlemen, you have 2 hours to complete this paper. Please pick up your pens. At which point, you have to spew this garbage out onto a page. Now, if you do it well enough, sponge out, in, sponge out, you pass your exams and you become very successful.